You often hear people say, just be yourself. Just be yourself. But what does just being yourself really entail? Because often when we are our most authentic selves, that's actually when we experience the most judgment. So I understand why many people may feel conflicted about actually being truly authentic to themselves, because people are scared of judgment and rejection. But why is it so important to be authentic? Authenticity equals happiness and fulfillment. It never feels good to live life not being true to yourself. Whether you water your personality down around other people, whether you hold back with your self-expression, whether you don't share your creations or your pursuits with the world, or you never act on them out of fear of rejection, whether you let people walk all over you, you don't set boundaries, or you don't ever speak your truth, or you're stuck at a job that you're not actually happy in because society told you that you should pick one of those safe, secure jobs. Whatever it may be, if there are any areas in your life that you are not being fully authentic in, naturally it's going to weigh on you because you're straying away from your soul's desires, because you're straying away from your heart and from your true self. And that never feels good. You may not even realize that you're being inauthentic to yourself. Many people don't realize it. You may be living or acting in a way that you were told that you should, but your inner self desires something different. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about what it really means to live authentically, to live true to yourself, and how to cultivate more authenticity if it's something that you've been struggling with. I remember growing up, I was a really sad and insecure teenager. And I think part of that was because there was something inside of me that desired something different, but I just wasn't quite sure what that was. I really didn't know who I was at the time, but I think I just had this inner knowing that I was a passionate person and that I wanted to kind of live life differently than other people, but I just didn't understand what that entailed or what that was. And so I think naturally I just kind of hid myself because I was scared to experiment. I was scared to try new things. I was scared to experiment with who I was as a person because I was scared of other people's judgments. So naturally I just kind of hid myself. And I dimmed myself. I dimmed my light and my passion inside because I didn't know what to do with it. I didn't understand it. And I think that made me a really sad and insecure person because it made me believe that I just wasn't worthy, that I didn't have the same interests or talents as other people. So that meant that I just wasn't talented, or that meant that I was just a boring person. But in reality, that was so far from the truth. I just didn't see that at the time. I was just a little seedling at the time, and there was such a spark within me. I just didn't understand it, so I didn't water myself. But all of that was entirely perfect. What do I mean by that? That was all for a reason, because it led me to where I am now. It made my journey to actually finding myself and actually cultivating authenticity so much more special and profound, and deepened my awakening experience to how beautiful life is and falling in love with myself. It just made everything that much more impactful because I went from feeling lost and insecure to becoming such a passionate person who loves life and loves myself. So you may be struggling with authenticity because you just genuinely don't even know who you are. Maybe you're young, or maybe you just haven't been exposed to your biggest passions yet. And so my biggest advice to that would be to just listen to any inner nudge that you have and don't be scared. Don't be scared of the outcome. Don't be scared of failure. Don't be scared of other people's judgments. Because any type of inner nudge that you have about something is pulling you in the direction of something that may be a piece of your authentic self that you have not found yet. There's some things that you're just drawn to, pulled to, like a magnet, or that's something along the path leading you to a piece of you. And it's important to listen to that, because if you're just following what everyone else is doing instead, say you're being pulled in this direction, but everyone's going in this direction, so you just follow the herd instead of going in the direction that you actually wanted to go in, you're going to feel this disconnect and this distance from your soul, from your authentic self. And what you may not realize at the time is if you actually go in the other direction, the one that you're actually being pulled to, you're going to be shown an entirely different way of life, one that actually resonates with you, one that comes naturally to you, one that lights a fire within you. Being authentic is about connecting to your soul. Your soul is where your deepest desires, passions, goals, and expression come from. As I mentioned before, often we don't actually know why we are so drawn to something or why we don't resonate with another thing at all. It's just who we are at our core, because we all have a unique soul. Being authentic is living in alignment with your core values. We all have certain values, whether we recognize them or not, because for some reason, so many of us go throughout our lives never actually being asked what our values are in life, what's important to us in life, and never recognizing that within our own selves, never sitting down and asking ourselves that. So we may be living a life that's actually not even in alignment with our values because we haven't actually defined those values for ourselves and set boundaries as to what aligns with those values and what doesn't. So what do you want in life? What is important to you? Is it love and connection? Is it freedom? Is it a certain belief or philosophy about life? And is there a disconnect between your core values and your lifestyle? The way to cultivate authenticity is to listen to your inner voice. Listen to your intuition. This can mean listening to and following through with those inner nudges. This can also be done through asking ourselves questions. I have a few questions I wrote down that maybe you can start asking yourself, such as, do you feel the need to always explain or prove yourself? Do you doubt yourself and your abilities? Do you lack trust in yourself? Do you have trouble setting boundaries? Or maybe you can start asking yourself, is this what I really want? What would I do? How would I act? And how would I live if it were completely up to me and I feared nothing? How does this make me feel? Listening to your inner voice can also be done through quieting the mind by doing peaceful activities, maybe nature walks or sitting in silence every day for a few minutes, getting rid of that stimulation. Maybe while you cook a meal, you don't listen to anything this time. Just allow yourself to just be with your own self, because we don't do that enough. In fact, most people are actually running away from their thoughts most of the time. Most people don't actually want to be with themselves in silence without any stimulation for that long of a time, if at all. A very beautiful quote that I actually have on my wall in that direction. You can't see it, but this quote is, "Quiet the mind and the soul will speak." And that one sentence is just such a good representation of what I'm explaining right now. Being authentic, cultivating authenticity is expressing yourself to the fullest extent, not people pleasing. Saying what you mean and how you feel, despite how others may think about it, unless it's disrespectful, of course, but that's just common sense. That is something I constantly have to work on myself. I don't know why, but whenever I'm around other people who say certain things, I have this block within me where I'm scared to actually say my truth if it's opposing to theirs. I'm scared to actually say how I feel if it's not how they feel, which doesn't make any sense. It's why do we feel that way? Because it shouldn't be hard to just be yeah, I disagree with you, but that's fine. We're two different people. So that's so important in cultivating authenticity, is speaking your truth. This is a topic that Aaron Doughty has been talking about a lot lately. He's another spiritual YouTuber. I'm sure you've heard of him before if you are in the spiritual realm of YouTube, but he has been talking a lot lately about not just trying to be nice, because being nice doesn't mean being authentic. What's actually more important than being nice is being genuine, being authentic, being true to yourself. We don't need to just be nice to people all the time, tell people what they want to hear, even if it's not how we really feel, even if it's against our authentic self. And that's something I literally deal with every day, is like having this block where I feel like I need to be nice all the time to everyone. And it's like, yeah, it's a good trait to have, to be a kind person, but it's actually not doing any good if you being nice to others means you're not being nice to yourself. So that's important to remember. Even when I make these videos, I get so scared about saying certain things, or no matter what I'm talking about, I'm so careful about how I word things because I'm always scared that people are going to take it the wrong way. And it's just like, this is my channel, these are my creations, these are my messages that I want to share, and not everything I say has to resonate with everyone, and in fact, there's no way it's ever going to. So that's something I deal with in my content, that's something I deal with in my personal life as well, and that's something that so many of us deal with. So that's something very important to remember, that being authentic does not mean being nice. Okay, you can be a kind person, you can be a good person, but don't go against your own values or not speak your own truth just to be nice to another person, because that's not nice to yourself. Go all out when it comes to your self-expression, whether that's your clothes or your quirks or your jokes, your sense of humor, just who you are as a person, your creations, your talents. Go all out with it. Seriously. I mean, like, why not? Literally, why not? Why hide parts of yourself when you know that there's no way that you're ever going to please everyone else? So just please yourself. Literally, just please yourself. It's crazy that we even have these blocks, because you would think it would just come naturally to us to just be ourselves and be authentic and not be worried about what other people think. But for some reason, it's not. It doesn't come natural for some reason, because we're always so scared of other people's judgments. I guess it comes from our own inner blocks. I guess it comes from our own shame, low self-esteem, and self-worth. Embrace all parts of you, your strengths, your weaknesses, your quirks, your talents. Embrace all of those things. Being authentic is diving deep into what brings you joy in life and bringing more of that into your life. Let yourself become obsessed with your passions. And not only allow yourself to become obsessed with your passions and dive deeper into them, but allow yourself to release your own creations into the world. Everyone wants to see your true, authentic self, even if they think that they don't. So that is, I think, all I have to say in this video. I really hope that it resonated with you, and I hope it inspired you to be a more authentic person. When I planned on filming this video, and even right now as I'm filming it, I actually am getting in my head, because I feel like this is a really cliche topic. I feel like it's already been talked about so many times before, so many times. But it would have been inauthentic if I ignored this video idea that I had, that I wanted to create out of fear or out of unworthiness because it's already been done before. That's not really the point, right? Like, I'm just making this video because I had this message to share today. I had my own take on it, and I felt like releasing this into the world. So even right now, I'm having to work through my own fears of being fully authentic, because there's a part of me that's not that excited to post this video, because I'm like, okay, cool, like, you didn't bring anything new to the table, this has already been talked about. But that's what was on my heart to share today. So it would have been inauthentic of me to dim my light, to not share this video on YouTube just because I'm scared of what anyone would say about it, or more so because I'm scared that I'm not good enough. So thank you so very much for joining me in today's video. I really hope that it resonated. If it did, it would mean the absolute world to me if you gave it a like or commented down below, because that really helps support me in the YouTube algorithm. And also subscribe to the channel if you would like a safe space to come back to every week. I would absolutely love to have you here. But other than that, I really hope that I see you in my next video. Blessings to you all.